What do you want to do for the intro? See, we sit here talking about the intro.
You make it seem like it's a planned thing. Usually it used to be like you recording me and I didn't know you were recording.
Right.
Right.
Which is what I would always try to do.
Except tonight.
Because that was spontaneous. Yeah, except tonight. So we have no idea what we want to do for the intro.
We should talk about your beard.
Let's talk about my beard. What about my beard?
Where'd it go?
I had to trim it so it'll fit under the masks.
Okay.
Because I looked like some kind of wild forest creature.
But it's all white. Like.
We should talk more about that in a minute.
Okay. Sure.
He's a nurse, life could be worse. She's a mess, we must confess. Welcome to My Princess Has MS.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of My Princess Has MS.
2-2.
2-2, that's right. My name is Leslie. I have MS. And my co-host, as always, is my wonderful husband. Brent.
What are we doing right now?
He just happens to be a registered nurse, and he's also the team leader of a mental health and addictions unit at one of our local hospitals. So he brings with him a little bit of knowledge.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Fit in a baseball cap.
Yeah, I don't want to, ramp you up too much.
I just listened to all of season 1 and all of season 2. I have not heard much ramping, to be honest.
From me?
Yeah, there's not a lot of ramping.
I try to keep you humble.
I don't feel the need to be humbled, but I appreciate you thinking I do.
I'm just looking out for you.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Kind of like a toddler trying to cross the street.
I got your back. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
We have updates and
yes, we do. Last week was our first episode
of season 2.
If you want to get caught up, because maybe this is the first time you've heard us,
which is just
I can't imagine,
simply unacceptable.
We recorded and uploaded our entire first season last year to WordPress. But it shares a space on Brent's writer's blog.
Yeah.
So, but if, we will give you the link and you can find the entire first season, as well as episode 1 of season 2. At that link.
So the link is in the description. If you're on YouTube looking at the video, the link to the entire season 1 and the archive is right below your eyeballs under the logo in the description, because I just put that in there this morning. I've learned all the YouTube stuff.
But
this morning.
You were up early.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Doing your homework.
I was doing all the things. Mm-hmm. I was doing all the things.
Yes, all of them.
Yes.
But this may not air on YouTube for a few more days.
Right.
Just due to technical reasons.
We have an ancient laptop, and when I put season 1 through the ancient laptop, it took exactly 16 hours to process the...
You had to wait till you woke up this morning.
Yeah. When I woke up this morning, it was like Christmas, and I looked, and there was my file. And I was like, you're ready to go. And I'm like, now we'll try and load it onto YouTube. And because I'm a pessimist, it won't work. But that was the easiest part. YouTube, the interface with YouTube was actually the easiest part. I'm getting nerdy again. I'm sorry.
You're really not a tech nerd. You've said that, but to me, a tech nerd knows
what they're doing.
Tech? Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
it's gonna be one of those nights. I can tell. Okay, so
I just don't want you to mislead people.
You're big on accuracy.
I am.
So what I accurately did was figure out a way to tape a podcast on a phone and convert it to a podcast archive on a website.
I think I could have done that. I really do.
And then load it into YouTube, which on a computer that is smoking, like literally.
Well, it's from
smoke's coming out of the
2014.
ears of the thing.
Yeah, it was our son's in grade 9.
It's dying.
Yeah,
So
it gets the job done.
no, it doesn't. Nothing that takes 18 hours is getting the job
See,
done.
for me, when I use it, I'm a really patient person, and it doesn't raise my blood pressure to use it.
As we discussed last week, you also may have difficulty with the concept of time. And therefore, 18 hours is a lot of time.
I think I would notice 18 hours. But I want to go back to what I was saying.
Right.
You may not find us on YouTube for a few days, but hopefully tonight we'll have everything up and running on WordPress. But the link that you just told them to find on YouTube, they won't be able to find. They won't be able to get us on WordPress.
So,
unless you give that link out.
but
now.
they'll already be on WordPress.
Yes, but we need to tell them how to get there.
Just Google "My Princess Has MS," because now it's popping up in the Googles all the time.
Ooh, okay.
And it depends on how crappy a tacky nerd I actually am, in how much time I have to edit the thing and post the thing tonight by the time we're done.
You're a beast. You'll do
Now that you've had your turnip fries that I brought to you on the couch with ranch dressing.
Brent's new hobby is an air fryer obsession. But I'm glad because
Yeah, you're grateful.
I'm eating more vegetables than I've ever eaten in my life.
So may I just, if you don't have an air fryer, wait for one to get on sale and get yourself an air fryer, because let me tell you,
Life changes.
it is. It's a game changer. It's a total game changer.
Yeah.
I made, because we have a son who can't eat bread and wheat, I made sweet potato
Bread, basically.
It looks like bread, yeah. And he wasn't sure, so I made a steak hoagie with sweet potato panels, I guess you'd call them, on top and bottom. And man, it was good. Oh my God, it was good. And it worked. It held the sandwich together. So he's excited because he can eat something similar to a sandwich now.
Yeah. We make sweet potato fries. We make regular fries, hand cut.
Everything.
Turnip fries.
We did deep fried pickles once.
Yes, and I that didn't turn out so well because it was the very first thing we made. And why we're talking about this, I have no idea when we have so much other...
Because you were upstairs being like, we can't get off on a tangent. I know. That's all we do. That's all we do is tangents. It's part of
My
our
brain
cuteness.
is just one big tangent.
Your brain is a tangent.
That is part of one of my MS symptoms. Anyway.
And I should also point out, you have 2 pages of block script laid out that you agonized over for hours today. And again, as always, we're going to get through like 3 paragraphs because we'll be looking at it and be like, oh, an hour went by.
No. I've got us. We're on track.
All right,
we're
so
doing fine. I do want to point out though, if I may have the floor.
It's always your floor, isn't it?
It's not. I find I have to compete with you to get a word in edgewise.
It may seem that way, but we were watching The Voice last night, and Blake played the tape of, it was back in season 17, of Kelly cutting Blake off, and she was like, I'm being persecuted. I think you would find that I am often, if we played the tape, unable to have the floor. But go ahead, please.
Feel as you do.
Wow.
Right off the bat, we should let you know, especially if you've never listened before, we are in no way here to dole out
Money.
I wasn't going to say that, but yeah, no, I don't think they came expecting that. We're not going to, and we're not in a position to dole out medical advice. Brent's a nurse. He's a registered nurse, and he does deal with mental health and addiction. So, that he can speak to in most cases, but he's not going to say to you, I suggest you do this, this, and this. We're mostly here to talk about our own experiences and how we deal as a couple with one of us having MS and the other being more in the caregiver role. And it's mostly to give you if you're in a similar position, a little bit of support, and just so that you know you're not alone, you're not the only one out there.
MS can be terrifying, and it can suck. So we do our best. I keep having to reset my head because we're only 2 episodes in. If someone's just catching on, listening for the first time,
We have to keep reminding ourselves that some people are new to us.
But if you were to say, look at your first MRI, or if you're the partner of someone who just got their first MRI or confirmation of diagnosis, or had, God forbid, had to go through a spinal tap scenario, which can also be very frightening, to get their diagnosis, and you're wondering what does this mean? What does this explain over the last 10 years or more, whatever? We hope that we can somehow just give you a little bit of slice of life from 2 people who have to live with this disease and try and make life work as best we can. And that's really the point.
Right. And it's not just MS that we'll talk about, because MS has other symptoms, but I've had symptoms of other things as well that kind of bounce up against the MS symptoms. Like I'm medicated for so many things. High blood pressure, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, OCD. I really have issues. Probably some of the worst issues I have are my depression, my anxiety, and panic attacks. So if anyone out there is experiencing any of those, you might hear us chat about those from time to time, because it seems like every day one of those things is on my plate. And
our plate.
Our plate. You're right. The depression especially has been bad, and in the past 2 years, I've had 2 chronic, issues.
Episodes.
Yeah, and nearly hospitalized. Not for like a week or something, but just overnight to monitor me. So yeah, we can relate to all of that. Like, any mental health issues that you might be experiencing. Trust me, we've probably, if I haven't had them, Brent has dealt with them at work. And
we're not really, gonna talk about treatment paths out of that or anything like that in a nursing context. But the idea is just to give a view on
what it's like to live with it.
Yeah, daily, like how to go through things.
How do we handle it?
Yeah, and you will note we're sometimes ridiculously cute, and I'm not a big believer in that, but it does. I keep hearing it. People keep telling us this.
You are ridiculously cute.
There's ramping. You've got motives. Anyway. We do it like that. We laugh about it, and we have puppies. We have fur babies.
Yes, just a warning that they are both with us here in the room tonight. Last week they growled a little bit, or groaned. I guess groaned. They were a little bored.
They weren't getting along.
If they see somebody walk past the window, they will be likely to bark. But they're pretty chill right now. And
the other thing is, we are running. We tape it in one shot. So, like, we have an agreement that we're not going to stop taping if one of us starts to cry or, I don't know, whatever, something flies in through the window or the...
There have been many times that I've said, okay, stop. And you're like, no, we're going to keep going.
No, that's the magic of the show.
Oh, yes, the magic.
So, anyway, hopefully... If you've just tripped over this on the internet somewhere and you're like, what is this about, this silly thing with the princess thing, and you played it, then here's an opportunity to get a slice of life on what it's like to live with a chronic disease and how it affects a relationship, because it does. I mean, it just absolutely does.
So, as I was saying, any one of you who can relate to any of those issues that we just spoke about, it doesn't matter if you're part of a couple, but that, it is definitely helpful if you are a part of a couple, because that's our perspective. sometimes we can get a little silly, and we discuss our silly little mundane life and our dogs. And
We've mentioned twice in 2 years about going to Value Village.
only twice.
Yeah.
Well, I've only been there once locally.
So you can tell we're introverts. We don't get out much.
Yeah.
We don't want to get out much. And it's COVID, so we shouldn't go out much.
Yes. Oh, that brings me to another issue that you just about broke. Now that we've entered the YouTube world and have a channel there are rules about what we can and cannot speak of.
Yeah.
And we will speak of them, but not using the language that's being typically used right now in the news, in terms of the state of the world's health right now.
So basically, YouTube has scrapers that if they hear the word COVID, they will. Again. Yeah, I know. I use the word. Okay, so yeah, but it will draw the attention of the scrapers, which are like program bots or something. I don't know. I'm not a tech nerd, so I wouldn't know.
Exactly.
And they go through, and if they find too many that they don't like, they can shut the channel down. Which, I mean, okay, fine if they do that.
Or the V word.
What?
The V word.
Vaccine.
Oh my
that
gosh.
word.
You're not supposed to say it.
I didn't tell you couldn't say it. I said that we have to be careful what we say about it. We can't, like, for example, one of the rules on the YouTube page, there's a list of stupid things you cannot say to make people believe magical thoughts about the virus. So it just goes on and on and on. I was reading it and I'm like, well, we're safe there. I mean, these are awful. You didn't read the I didn't send you the link.
No, you didn't.
Oh, well, here we are doing a thing. And I'll send it to you.
I'm just going to be extra cautious and not say the words.
I don't even know what that means. Extra cautious. That's, no, I'm just a wild,
weird.
I'm a wild child.
Yeah, that's you in a nutshell.
Rebel.
Yeah. So we'll talk around. I will anyway. I will talk around those words.
The bug.
Yeah, no, the pandemic or
whatever.
The current treatment that's being sought.
The reason my beard is bent, we call it that, because it was putting a dent. My beard was so beautiful and long and flowing.
What was putting a dent in it?
The mask.
Well, you didn't say that. Nobody would know what you were talking
about.
But
okay, so wearing the mask was putting a...
At work.
Yeah, and so, well, it's every day, though. It's like, awful. It's all the time. So I had this weird, like, denty wave thing, and I was in the washroom the other day, and I looked in the mirror, and I'm like, boo! Because I scared myself. It was reaching out like a fern brush, trying to, like, reach for the door to escape from under the mask. So I had to trim the mask, and as you noticed, I've got patchy whites.
Yes, you shaved, and
which are not evenly dispersed. I've got like this weird... I look like one of those cats that have strange markings, and it doesn't quite... So anyway, it's back to the Just for Men stuff to try and rub it into the white and get rid of it again, I guess.
I think that's only proper.
Because you once said, I'm too young to be married to a man that old.
Well, yeah, I just have issues with people our age letting themselves go white or gray.
Yeah, I know. You know how old we are, right?
That you don't have to look that old.
Well,
we're both entering
our second,
the 51st
second half
year
of our century
of our lives, and I that's a big thing for me. I'm not handling it well.
I am, man. That's just
why my hair
stick my head out the window and grab the day by the throat and my teeth. Let's go.
My hair is fire engine red this week.
Yep.
Yeah. So why be gray when you can be any color of the rainbow, right?
Well, beards not so much. Yellow.
Yellow.
Yeah. Bright green, lime green. You can't.
I could see you with a...
What? With a what?
Maybe a little bit of a teal, turquoisey.
What? In my beard?
You should try.
No, I won't. Anyway, next point. That's just weird.
Okay, well, that's just a thought. Just a thought.
Next thought.
So we just
Turquoise
covered
blue.
about the strict guidelines.
Strict guidelines.
So if all of a sudden you notice that we're no longer...
I'm still going to talk about the thing because it's real and it's out there. It's just
there's no way we could not talk about it.
How could you not talk about it? That's crazy.
Yeah. We'll just use different language. That's all. And after a while, you'll catch on. And it's not like we're going to be using a different language like Spanish or Russian or...
Well, we could.
Oh my gosh, maybe we could.
But then the Spanish YouTubes would be like, hola.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Stop.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Okay. We want to give a shout out as well to the U.S. because...
All of it?
Yeah.
All right. That's cool.
Why would we eliminate anyone?
We're not... I just mean, how do you shout at the entire U.S., especially right now? They're kind of busy, but yeah, go for it.
Well, no, it's March is MS Awareness Month in the U.S. right now. So it would be a really great time if you're able to support them. Either you can donate to help MS research.
Or just share stuff.
Yeah, just share information. Educate yourself.
They've got a great Instagram, the MS Society of the United States.
Instagram.
Share the heck out of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Learn about the disease and stuff. Yeah.
Because maybe some of you have friends that have it, or coworkers, and it's a good chance to just help raise awareness. As well, I do want to caution people, because this is something I've noticed on social media, that there are a lot of companies promoting merchandise in celebration of MS Awareness Month in the U.S. You'll see a lot of like orange T-shirts, and they'll say things like MS Warrior, or just really MS. I have word issues, word finding issues. Honestly, you'll hear me say that every single episode. It's an MS brain thing. Anyway,
snow globe brain, you call it.
I know, and I see that doesn't even make sense to me this year.
It does when you listen to the show. You thought it was a moment of genius, and it makes a lot of sense to me. And then there was bubblegum brain, or something.
Yeah. Hubba bubba.
Anyway.
I just want to caution people that there are people out there making money off of the fact that it's MS Awareness Month in the U.S. And when you go to their sites, there's absolutely no mention of any of the monies going towards charity or research. And it's not just MS; they also are promoting merchandise for Alzheimer's or autism.
Wow.
Or it's it's a little, just do your homework. If you're gonna buy something like that, I would go straight to the MS Society if they have a merch page, or something legit. But just do your homework, because if you're gonna it's one thing to wear the T-shirt, but it'd be nice to know that you contributed in some way by buying that T-shirt,
Yeah.
or mug or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So yeah, just I fell in love with some of the things, which is sad, because they were really cool designs on a lot of the T-shirts. But no, I in good conscience, I couldn't buy one just because I thought it was cute. So there, that's your little take home for the evening. No, everyone.
Oh, because I was going to say I live here. Anyway, okay.
For now. Yeah.
Next. No, because in the beginning of the podcast you said, as always. You are locked, lady. It is taped.
As always.
There's my husband, as always. Legal term. There you go. Ha!
Oh, okay.
In like Flint. I don't know.
Okay. I don't know what you're talking about either. So, we had several topics we were going to talk about, but I think we will probably just stick to one, because the one that we are deciding to talk about this evening, it could get pretty in-depth. It could get pretty emotional. It could,
I'm feeling it.
it could end our marriage right here on YouTube.
That'd be interesting. That'd be good. That'd be a spike in owner. I could put it in the graphics at the top, in which our marriage ends. Yeah, we could just put that, like, I always say in which, and then write a thing.
Yeah. But right now, in our current world state of health affairs, I think it's fair to say that mental health amongst the general population, that it's reaching a tipping point for many people. Even people who have never experienced a mental health issue before. Wouldn't you agree with that? Like it's really pushing people to,
Yeah, absolutely. So
You just stared at me blankly, and I'm like, isn't that right?
No. I'm staring at it blankly because I'm waiting for the sentence. I'm waiting for the period so I can talk. I always do that.
No, usually you interrupt me, so that's good for you.
I usually
Good boy.
don't interrupt you.
Good boy.
You just interrupted me just now. Just there. Anyway.
Continue.
Yeah, what I've been telling everybody, because we've been seeing a lot of that. It's like an aggregate.
In your work, you've been seeing a lot
I'm
of
just
that.
going to wait for the period. So, we see a lot of that, and I've been telling everybody it's like an aggregate. It feels like a glacier. Like every day the glacier moves a little bit forward towards your village, and then eventually you realize it's on top of it and it's crushing it. And I think that over the last year, everybody has felt this pressure, and there's been a lot of like nonsense and stress and, lockdowns and come out of lockdowns and tightening and loosenings, and it feels like an unending jiu-jitsu match where the guy just seems to know how to get your throat constantly, but he keeps letting go of it, and you just want it to be over.
Well, I feel like a lot of people who have never experienced any kind of mental health issues before are kind of being like pushed well beyond their level of prior experiences. I mean, you've got parents who are homeschooling. You have parents who are working remotely from home. And then you have parents who are doing both of those things at the same time. Mm-hmm. And then you have caregivers who are, trying to take care of a loved one, maybe a relative, maybe a friend.
Maybe a wife.
Yeah, maybe. But it's the human psyche can only take so much, and for some people, it's causing them to break. And I think that's kind of what we want to talk about. There's people out there who haven't seen their family members in maybe all year. Who knows?
Yep.
And there's senior citizens in care whose families can't come visit them. There's, you can only have small gatherings, so a lot of funerals and weddings have been downsized, which is, I watched my cousin's funeral online a couple of days ago. I wasn't close, I didn't know her, but I had been in contact with her and her father, but I mean, there were less than 20 people at the service, and it doesn't seem fair, but it has to be. But the thing is, can you imagine not being able to hug at a time like that, or express your grief, person to person physically, it's a time like we've never seen before, and I know our grandparents have been through pandemics and wars, yeah. But I mean, for us, our generation, this is really hard, and it's there's so much isolation, out of necessity, and so many people, I think, are maybe for the first time experiencing mental health issues.
Yep. Yeah, we are seeing that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was expecting you to elaborate on that.
No, I'm good. I agree with everything you're saying.
But people who, and then you throw in like an illness into the mix of all those issues, like a chronic illness like MS or Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. Throw something like that into any of those situations where you have, a mom or a dad working at home, homeschooling, and then maybe grandma lives with them and they're trying to take care of her, or whatever. It's just, I think, something that a lot of people were not prepared for. And I think, one of the people or peoples who often are overlooked are the caregivers. We worry a lot about the person with the illness and making sure that they're okay and that they get what they need. And I don't think there's enough awareness of the fact that somebody's taking care of these people. Maybe a spouse, maybe a loved one, maybe someone who comes in to the home. There's a toll that takes on a caregiver.
Yeah.
And
big old toll.
And I know our situation pales in comparison to most people, because my own mother was a caregiver to my father for 12 years while he had Alzheimer's. And there was so much involved with that,
Yeah.
All the personal care, the stress of, almost, not that they were combative, but, you're trying to keep somebody safe when they don't even know that they're not being safe, or
it's the unpredictability of the situations too.
Yeah.
And all that's made worse by the pandemic. Like, one thing I go through that I try to ignore is I get this sense sometimes from you where it's, well, why don't you just swing by and pick up this and this and this at the grocery store? And it's like, yeah, but it's been a long time since you've gone to the grocery store, and I don't think you've gone in many times during the pandemic at all. So
I don't drive anymore,
right,
as of the last year, because of my MS.
So it's like, okay, there's the whole thing about you got to take the glasses off because if they steam up your glass, you put the mask on. You put the mask on. Don't forget the bags, because they got rid of bags. So now you got to take bags in. Oh, the bags are in the trunk. Did I bring enough bags? Or you're halfway to the store and you're like, damn, I forgot the mask. You go back. Or damn, I forgot the bags. You go back. And all that rigmarole, and then you get in the store and there's always somebody walking down the aisle they're not supposed to walk down and breezing past you, or like spitting in the parking lot, or got their mask down or whatever, and you're just trying to follow the rules and get like your sweet potatoes. And so you get home and it's like, oh my God, like I went through all that. And it's difficult, I think, sometimes for people who aren't involved in that hamster race to get food and supplies on a regular basis to really appreciate what it's like to have to do that.
It's not just that. You go to work all day, and a lot of times you bring your work home, you get calls, and that's the nature of your job.
Don't tell my boss.
Right. But there's not just like going out and getting groceries. There's going out and making sure I have all the prescriptions I need, taking me to appointments, which means you have to take time off work. You go to get the mail, and then with my balance issues and my falling episodes and that sort of thing, I'm not able to carry heavy items up and down stairs. So that's an issue. It makes things harder for you. So on the weekends, you're trying to play catch up. because during the week, my fatigue, that's one symptom that I have noticed in the last 2 years hasn't gone away.
It's getting worse.
Yeah, I find most of my symptoms are I may be progressing into the next level, from relapsing, remitting to
Full-time chronic.
Or whatever
Whatever it is, yeah. I don't remember. I don't care
I only have the disease. I don't know all the terms.
I don't care what it's called. I just hate it.
Yeah, because so many symptoms don't seem like
Phasic.
yeah, they're always there now.
Yeah, the peaks and valleys thing is not
Yeah,
what it
so
used to be, I find.
during the week, I just have very little energy at all. It's like we've said in past episodes, it's like you wake up and your battery's not fully charged. You might wake up and only have 30% out of 100, just like your phone. So you have to decide carefully, what do I do with that 30%? Which is why I don't wear makeup during the weekdays anymore, because it takes energy to put it on. It takes energy to take it off. So, okay, I'll check that off the list. I don't need to waste an hour of my day doing that. If I make supper, it's as simple as possible, usually pre-made, like lasagnas or...
Air fryer.
Well, yeah, that's made our lives, awesome.
If you are the partner of a person who's afflicted with a chronic disease resulting in fatigue, get yourself an air fryer. I swear to God, you will send me an email saying thank you.
Okay. We're not being sponsored by any particular
If
air
there are
fryer.
any air fryer companies out there who are interested in sponsorship, I will be happy to have that phone call.
Brent will do a podcast
About air
simply
fryers.
on air fryers. Yes.
That would be cool. Recipes and yeah. You can hold the camera. We'll just make
Sure.
stuff.
But my hands aren't steady, so
I'll get somebody.
tripods are good for that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, for me, that makes it more difficult for Brent, because the things I can't do during the week, he has to play catch up on the weekend. And during this time of pandemic, I know that we're not going to have visitors coming. So where I used to be OCD about like every chair and pillow and cushion in its place, I've kind of given up on that. So I feel sometimes, I've said to you, like, just forget about the vacuuming today, or forget about the fact that we need to dust or whatever. Just, pick something, do it. And I think sometimes you put too much pressure on yourself to do too much, and it doesn't help that we're in the middle of like 2 or 3 different house projects at the same time. We live in a house that's 120 years old, I think, and for my mobility issues, we are putting a half bath in right now on the main floor.
The guy came today. Call the living God. Now his beard looks good.
Yeah?
Yeah, very good.
I was in bed.
And he did a quote, and he's gonna help us out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I will have that burden taken off of me, because I used to have to go upstairs to use the washroom or to the basement, and that poses a falling risk for me, because my bowels and bladder are, because of MS,
Immediate concerns.
yeah, and they don't warn me that, hey, you should go to the bathroom right now.
That's an important point too. We made a commitment that we're not going to sugarcoat the way this disease hits people, because I don't think that's fair. And I don't, as a nurse, there are symptoms of diseases that are uncomfortable to talk about, but they have to be talked about, because if they don't, then people have, they're afflicted with things that can frankly ruin lives. And then they tend to think that they're the only ones that that's happening to, and that's not fair.
Yeah, and it bothers me when I hear people say, oh, well, so-and-so has MS and they're fine. They go hiking and they go da-da-da-da-da. That's something you need to know. No two people have the same set of symptoms. It's a snowflake disease. And my symptoms, for the most part, are invisible, except maybe looking like I'm drunk and stumbling sometimes.
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't say they're invisible.
No.
Nope.
No.
Nope. Put a camera in this house. People are like, what is wrong with that lady?
Stop it. Are you being serious?
Yes.
This is news to me.
How can it be?
What is wrong with this lady?
Well, yeah. I mean, if we decided to turn this thing into a reality show, holy cow, man. You kidding? Think about when you come out of the kitchen and try to get to the living room door and bounce off the heating pipes. Or if, like...
I've been doing that since I was 20.
No,
earlier.
It's worse now.
Yeah, no.
No, it's worse now.
Yeah, I know. But that's, I don't want people to tune in each episode and only hear us joking and laughing and,
No, it's
making
dark.
it sound like it's it's wonderful and fun, and
it isn't.
all you need to do is have a sense of humor. That's not it.
We're living a lie, and we're basically crying ourselves to sleep.
That's a bit dramatic.
Oh, you're not?
Well, I am sometimes, but not every night.
Me too! High five!
High five!
You got it. You got the high five on the first hit.
Okay.
Yay to crying yourself to sleep in human tragedy and existential crisis.
We each take a poodle to bed and
Yeah.
cuddle. But anyway, we're getting off track again.
There is no track.
There's no track?
No. Well, the time track.
You know what?
You have 20 minutes left.
That should be a good saying.
Hmm?
That should be like a saying, like, there is no track in life.
Yeah. It's not a train track. It doesn't go straight or bendy in slight ways. It goes upside down and curves. And
Like a kite.
Yeah.
Wow, we are so philosophical this evening.
Wow. That's deep.
Must have been that espresso you had.
Oh my God. How did no one ever tell me about... It's $1.72, well, times two. And you get this little tiny cup. The guy didn't believe I was asking for one. He's like, do you want one of the little... And I'm like, yes. Because I didn't know they exist. So I came in the house with my little Smurf cup, loaded with like high octane espresso, and your cake in a cup. I don't know what it was. Mocha.
A coffee mocha.
With a flavor shot of fluffy, maffy fluff.
No, I didn't get the flavor, the fluffy... Why are you...
I don't know. I don't remember.
It's called whipped cream. Why are you... You made me say it. Fluffy white
fluffy,
stuff.
Muffy fluff.
That's not what it's called.
No,
but
caramel.
No, I this is just a half coffee, half...
Anyway, my teeth vibrated. And I could feel my eyeballs constrict. It was great. I love that. That is great stuff. I need to drink more of that. It makes me talk even faster than this.
It makes you happy because...
Well, I can get stuff done, that's for sure.
I think you should have that at work.
I think you're right. 1 calorie.
1 calorie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness.
And you burn 800.
Wow.
When you drink it, I bet. Maybe.
Okay, back on topic.
There's no track.
No, so I'm gonna derail us here for a minute. We were talking about caregivers.
Me.
So
We're talking about me.
it doesn't always have to be about you.
I don't think that's the ratio on this show, but yeah, okay.
For caregivers and the ones
Like
who
me.
do personal care and dealing with a partner or a friend or a family member who has extreme physical needs, it has to be especially stressful right now, especially if that caregiver is also working a job outside of the home. What got us thinking about talking about this, and I'm surprised we didn't talk about it last year, but a couple of weeks ago, Brent and I actually had to sit down and have a really tough conversation because I think of you, Brent, as
That's nice.
Yeah, I do. I think of you sometimes. I think of you as being mentally strong. Not somebody who would like reach a breaking point, especially because you work in that area. And you just always seem to take care of things. And you came to me and, you know, you were visibly at a breaking point, you know, and it started with me asking why you were so irritable. Like, you were just like, everything was just, you know, you had so much anger, and I could tell, but you weren't like throwing it at me. It was just, I could see that you were angry about something. I could see you were irritable. I could, you know, tell something was wrong. And that's when you pulled a chair up right in front of me and said, okay, blah, 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 blah.
I think I used real words. Pretty sure I used real words.
I was hoping you could fill in the blanks there.
Yeah, well, I mean, so here's the secret about men. We carry stuff past the breaking point, and we get mad at ourselves when we see ourselves start to break. So we're not mad. We're mad about failure. We're not mad at necessarily at our partners, but it's too much, and I'm probably under more strain than normal over the last year, right? With all of the, you know, I'm always concerned about my team safety. I'm always concerned about, you know, I don't want anyone to get sick
during this pandemic.
Yeah,
it's increased.
Anyone in my life to get sick, and that, you know, I have a work family. We are together a lot, and we've been through, like, people wouldn't even begin to understand what teams like that in hospitals have been through. Not that I'm wearing the gowns and I'm exposed, you know, to direct care or intubations or anything like that. That sounds the kind of nursing I do, but the things that we have to deal with on a daily basis are hard, and they may be even harder now. And we have some very stressful times, and we make it through it because we're basically family. We don't always get along, but that's the way we are. But month after month, it slowly like eats away at you. And then I come home, and I always call it my second shift. I come home at like 3:30, 4 o'clock, start my second shift. You know, you can only do that for so long, and you can only have so many pots on the burners for so long before you have to stop, shut it down, and say, look, I need help.
You have too many hats for one person to wear.
I wouldn't say.
Well, no.
A lot of people are in my boat. A lot of people have a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah.
And I've asked for these responsibilities too. I don't ever see myself in a place where I would tap out of any of the responsibilities I have, including like people who call me on the phone who need help that aren't connected to work or family, but they're family to me, and I love them. So if they needed me, I would be there. You know, I mean that's true of anybody.
And I encourage you to do that. I don't ever get upset that you have, you know, that you take time to do that.
I'm not sure that I could do it any other way, to be honest.
Yeah. But it led me to do a little bit of research about what causes caregiver burnout, what you can do about it. Apparently, like it stems from a lot of caregivers having unrealistic expectations of their ability to change health and happiness for the person that they're taking care of. A lack of control over money, resources to help improve your situation. Unreasonable demands on yourself as a caregiver, and also the loved one has unreasonable demands on the caregiver sometimes. You know, and don't raise your eyebrows at me.
These are high brows right now.
Yeah. When caregivers ignore those symptoms, it can lead to a breaking point, and they can become non-functional or sick themselves. One thing I would say, though, is you do take care of your physical health, and thank goodness you do. Like, I mean, you work out regularly, and you eat well. And you do have friends who you talk to, and those are things that are suggested as ways to cope with caregiver burnout. Having said that, you do all those things, and it's still hard. Some symptoms are people, and you don't fit all of these, but you don't have to, but some of the symptoms of caregiver burnout are withdrawal from friends and family, a loss of interest in activities that you previously enjoyed, feeling blue, irritable, helpless, hopeless. I know you felt irritable because I can see that. Changes in appetite and weight. You haven't really experienced that, but I mean, these are things I have noticed. One symptom is changes in sleep patterns. You've been napping every day when you come home, and not just a little nap. Most days, not every day. But then at 10:30, you're still so tired that you have to go to bed. I think there's a lot of mental fatigue and stress from work and me
and you. So the thing about changes in sleep patterns, typically if I'm, like, say, looking at a patient and I'm checking out their sleep, if they're not sleeping enough and not having quality sleep, that's one of the first things we try to figure out and look at. Mm-hmm. Napping is actually self-care. Napping is actually stopping the clock, saying, look, and you look at me like Rio looks at me when I leave for work. When I come home and say, okay, I really got to take a nap, you're like, really? You it's like, I thought we were going to sit and have coffee, and there's a little bit of that.
Well, it's a break from our old routine. You used to come home from work. I would make you a coffee, which I don't even do anymore. I just say, hey, you're going to get a coffee. But hey. No, it was our thing. You would come home, kind of debrief, and I'd tell you, anything that came up during the day that you should know about, or, and, you say, oh, I'm getting older, but I think it's, stress.
So, yeah, and we have some really large days at work, like I said. Yeah. And there are some days when I have decision fatigue, because seriously, I make probably, and I'm not joking, probably 800 decisions a day.
And you can't tell me any of that, so that's stuff you have to hold inside. You can tell me in very vague terms what kind of day you had. Yeah. But, there's a lot that I'm sure that you hold on to, that you have to hold on to.
Right.
And, that's hard, I'm sure.
So I want to point out two things. One, we only have 8 minutes left. And I had said when I looked at the big blocks of text that we could probably chop this into 2 shows, and it might be a good idea.
No, I'm on my last.
Okay. And the other thing was that list you have in front of you is also your symptom list.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Except this one symptoms kind of scares me. Feelings of wanting to harm yourself or your loved one. I hope you haven't felt that.
We don't have pillows big enough to smother you with. I did notice that.
So you've considered it.
Well, I just look around. I'm like, these won't work. And I really...
We shouldn't laugh, really, because...
I wouldn't be very good at holding it on my own face. I just fall asleep.
And that's not to make fun of anyone who has that symptom. This humor is how we cope.
It's all we have. Ladies and gentlemen.
That and our sweet, sweet style.
Sweet style. It's all I have in my sweet, sweet style.
That's what they say on the IT cred.
That's what he says on the
Richard
IT cred.
Iowade.
That's
yes.
right. That hilarious
Don't
man.
get me started. and also emotional and physical exhaustion.
Yes.
And we've mentioned irritability. So those are just some symptoms that people have. And these are no-brainers, really. Prevention. Talk to a friend or someone you trust. I'll try to go quickly because we only have a little bit of time left. But talk to a friend or someone you trust about what you're feeling and going through. So if any of that applies to you, find somebody. Set realistic goals. Ask for help. Support groups are available, even online.
What was that last part here? This part?
Set realistic goals
No,
and
after that.
ask for help.
Yeah.
Okay, that's another show.
I remember mentioning, actually, just tonight.
We did a show on that already, actually, last season, so I don't think we...
You're vetoing the content.
Well, we're in a hurry.
Oh!
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to put it on tape that I'm actually asking for help. I want my mom to come and do the help thing.
Okay.
I want to
we'll
push...
talk about that later.
We talked about it previously. It's literally on the list. You wrote it down. Make sure you don't take on too much. Make sure you do good self-care. Can I get mom to come help? No, not right now.
Okay. Make time for yourself. It's not a luxury. It's a necessity.
I can't because I'm too busy doing the stuff mom isn't doing.
You work out and you made some kind of silly model in the basement last weekend.
I haven't touched it since I started it, and it's not a silly model. It's a castle.
Oh.
It's a tower.
Okay. Tower of hopes and dreams.
No, it's actually a tower of doom. It's falling apart on purpose.
Therapy. That doesn't have to mean going to a therapist. You could talk to a social worker, a clergy member, anybody that you can just use as a sounding board. So you can just
Your mom.
just dump your feelings and frustrations and not on them, but just use them as a sounding board. They don't even have to give you any advice or have anything helpful or useful for you to cope. Sometimes just saying the words out loud.
So we have a rule in treatment. It's called shut up and listen. And a whole lot of things boiled down to a very simple statement, but it's the basis of something called motivational interviewing, which is a method of listening in a way that doesn't make the other person feel judged, but you're just receptive to what they're saying. I don't do it well enough with you, that's for sure. But it's very hard to do it with people that you live with. But the bottom line is a mark of a good listener or treatment professional or a therapist is somebody who shuts up and listens to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. Having gone to therapy myself twice. Yay. I thought you would find that funny because you're always on me about going to therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And I'm not anti-therapy. I just, for myself, it's, I don't know, hard to get there. Also, accept that your feelings are okay. Whatever you're feeling, it's normal. Someone else is feeling it too. You're not a bad human because you go to somebody and talk about, how frustrating your spouse is or their demands on you or the lack of support that you have or whatever. You're not a bad person to go talk to somebody and verbalize that.
Convincing yourself that you're an ideal or that you should be something like a cartoon character, a romance film, a Hugh Grant person or one of those things that's just the perfect person who does all the things right and always says the things right. That takes a team of writers to create, and it's crap. Yeah. That has nothing to do with what it takes to be a human being, and that's why they can wrap people's life up in an hour and a half in a film. Mm-hmm. It's because they're not able. The really good shows will show you what it's really like, but there aren't enough of those. So stop trying to be that person. I don't think that's, reasonable.
One more last important point, and it's a no-brainer again. Eat exercise and sleep well. You know, keep yourself healthy because, you know, exercise and eating well, sleeping well, you're going to need that to cope if you are in a situation where you're caring for somebody and you need to be, you know, focused and not irritable and not take things out on them or, you know, that sort of thing. That's good advice for everybody.
May I just point something out?
Yeah.
That list you just read
Yeah. Yeah. I know
is also what you need to do.
I'm such a hypocrite. I have sleeping issues. I do. And they're my own fault. They're not even MS related.
I didn't talk about that, man. I was like, talk to a friend or someone you trust. Set realistic goals. Respite care. Ask for help. Make time for yourself. Therapy. Educate yourself about...
Why would I need respite care? Why would you need respite care?
That's my mom coming in and helping with the housekeeping. The chore stuff. That's basically respite care. That'd be like VON coming in.
Okay, respite care to me would be if someone had to come in and take care of me while you went out and had fun.
Okay, that could happen too.
I don't need anyone to take care of me. You can go out and have fun.
We're talking to the lady who almost poured water into the toaster.
I was trying to make coffee.
In the toaster? Like, when you go back... No, but seriously, and this is what I love about the podcast. When you go back and listen to the stuff that has come out of our mouths over the last, now, 15 episodes or something, it's like, holy crap, we are insane. Like, our lives are bonkers. And...
Not compared to other people, though. Not really. Like...
I believe I need an extra set of eyes on you if I were to go away for like 3 days.
I find that insulting.
Well, I'm sorry that you do. I would find it terrible to come home and find out that you fell down the steps. Trying to carry laundry that you shouldn't have been, that you did, that you shouldn't have. It's true.
I'm not that far gone. Like, I mean...
I think you need to read your lists. Again. They're right there in front of his nice piece of paper.
Okay, but what I'm
Very
saying
nice
is...
handwriting, by the way.
It's really not. That's one of the things that I've lost with MS is my handwriting and spelling and speaking. And I used to be a broadcaster, and you'd never know it today, but...
One thing I also noticed, I do a lot of...
What?
I don't cut you off, but I do distract you a lot to get my butt out of an argument on this show live.
Last week was a horror show.
Last week was awesome. That was a great episode.
Yeah, but you purposely threw me off track.
Because we were getting tight. We were starting to get some heat between each other. So I'm like, are you wearing my socks? This is great.
Which were mine.
I thought that was brilliant. Well, they were mine.
Yeah. No, they were mine.
No, they were mine. I just did it again.
I just ordered you 20 new pair on Amazon. So
wow, large day for Brent. Holy cow. Some guys get like Jeeps. I'm getting 20 socks. Man, let me tell you.
No, 20 pair.
Yeah,
that's 40
that's
socks.
Even bigger deal for my feet.
Yeah.
That's great.
So I think, we covered, I kind of thought it would get emotional. I thought you would get into talking about, but we don't have time.
If it were a 5-hour podcast, then I'd probably dig deep into the bones and start going to the dark place. But I want my mom. Have I made it clear enough?
I want my mom too.
Again, my mom wants to come and do 3 days of housework a month. That's on tape. And it has been months and months and months and months and months.
And I have a problem with that because my days mostly are spent resting. And I can't rest and watch someone twice my age running up and down the stairs with laundry. And
this is what I said to you yesterday. I would suggest the problem is yours. Mm-hmm. And you're going to break me with your problem. So you need to sit with your problem and get over it. And I need to get the help that I need to get.
Or I could try harder.
So it's been how many years of trying harder? And it always results in something bad happening, i.e. you crash or you have to sleep for 3 days or it's not worth it, babe. It's such a waste to keep fighting against this thing instead of just recruiting help when you need it. So I'm going to push the mom button. I'm saying it on tape.
I don't get a block. button, like on The Voice?
You don't
Like
get a block. You don't get a block to the button.
Oh.
Not that button.
Okay.
You got all kinds of blocks to all kinds of buttons, but not that button.
I'm so confused right now.
Like
What are you talking about?
if I were to come home with a Jeep, I just went to the dealership.
Oh,
and
that's a
dropped,
block.
right?
Yeah.
So don't think for a second you don't have the block button, because you do.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well,
So a little rough, a little dry, a little tight, a little hot, but not bad. And we had some laughs, and we always do.
is YouTube going to be upset that we went over by 4.5 minutes?
So there's no time limit on YouTube.
Oh, well,
Have you seen Joe Rogan talk for 3 hours about weed? Yeah, that's what I said.
don't get me going on Joe Rogan.
Don't get me going on Joe Rogan either.
Yeah, okay. So I think our work here is done.
I think so. I think we did well. I think we did well.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm going to take this and run upstairs and do the thing.
Because you're such a tech
Tech
geek.
nerd.
Yeah.
Well, geek, too.
I think
Nerds and geeks are different. I forget what the difference is, which means I'm not one, because I would know.
I think you're more of a tech... Oh, I don't want to say it because it sounds like I'm saying something derogatory.
Then don't.
Imbecile.
Wait. You think the word imbecile might be derogatory?
It's my brain. It's the only word that I
I don't
come
think
up
that
with.
was. Wow. And episode 2. End scene.
Bye.